Islam, and welcome to my channel. This is My Life Matters, and I am Energy Divine L. And in this character right here, this is when you get that wild man energy. Yeah, I'm in that wild man energy zone. So, anywho, right now, like I said, I'm on YouTube watching content, and I subscribe to Brother Rami L page at I Am Hip Hop Temple, or IAM International Asiatic Moors Holy Hip Hop Temple. But you have to go to his page and find out for sure. I may have messed that up. I didn't mean to. And I've been actually listening to this brother's content for a number of years now. And I appreciate what he does. His work is always on point. He's always representing his 5 highest principles known to man, as we are charged to do. He always keeps the prophet out front. So we're going to get started with this video. And I guess this is my reaction, if you will, perhaps, to brother's content.
Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami I thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I'm going to get right to this, then we're going to get to the video. We got a lot to discuss. Prophet warns all Muslims, to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet, Prophet Noble Ali.
Islam.
They lose confidence in their prophet. They should return their card and button, cease wearing the turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Ali. And with that, let's get right to the Supreme Grand Council. I'm going to take you back in time for a second.
Of the law. You say it's one way and I say it's another way. And the Supreme Grand Council is in place. And you and I say, well, since you and I can't reach a decision on that, then let's take this matter to the Supreme Grand Council and see what they say. We take the matter to the Supreme Grand Council. They issue their ruling, their opinion, and they present it, and it's binding on both parts.
Islam, because that's our society.
Because we accept the authority, therefore the authority.
Because that's our society. I mean, every society has their, means of handling, lawful matters, and controversies. Each one of us have that opportunity, as a society. It's unfortunate that we tied ourselves at this point in time. We seem to maybe, going ahead and getting clear and severing ourselves from, that society that's operating on our shores or operating on these shores. The Americas, which is known as the Americas now. But that's a different society from which I, am a party to, a member of, and have allegiance to, and what have you, So, with that being said, yeah, I don't see what the issue is. But this brother, like I said, he's given this a part of his, this is a portion of his measure that he's sharing. So let me continue on with this.
the Supreme Council, and even if that ruling supports my position or not, you see, I'm bound by it, and that prevents you and I from pulling apart. Well, it's what we believe is going to bring unity throughout the movement and preserve unity once we have achieved it. That's what I think is most important at this time.
I agree.
This unity is bringing about this unity, and the Supreme Grand Council is the key to bringing about that unity.
I agree. The Supreme Grand Council gives us a loud voice. It gives the members a loud voice, the officers a loud voice. It gives a fair voice, according to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali law. Now, we were just talking about the origin of the Supreme Grand Council. You know, if you will, I'd like to mention the first Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the effect that he had on the Supreme Grand Council. Would you like to elaborate on that, brother?
The first Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America was, without doubt or contradiction, Brother E. Millie Eel. He was appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh
Islam.
in the first sitting of the Supreme Grand Council,
Islam.
which took place in October of 1928 here in the city of Chicago.
With a record on the record, let the record show.
There can be no dispute,
Right.
there can be no argument that Brother Emile Ear was the first Supreme Grand Sheikh of this movement, regardless of what others say. Brother, the record indicates, the written record.
With a record on the record, let the record show.
The written records, and others have the written record also, that Brother Emile Ear was the Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right here in the city of Chicago. There can be no dispute about that.
And what did Brother Emilio do to make sure that the Prophet got his Supreme Grand Council in place after the Prophet passed off the scene?
Well, in the convention of 1930, the minutes clearly show that one of the things that was at the top of the agenda of that convention was to make sure that any vacancies in the Supreme Grand Council were filled. And we have the minutes of that meeting, of that convention of 1930. And there were other Grand Sheiks within the movement at that time who recognized Brother Emile as a Supreme Grand Sheikh, and who recognized the authority of the Supreme Grand Council
Islam.
as late as 1931.
Islam.
And of course, after the passing of Brother Emile in 1934, then further erosion of the central authority of the organization began to take place. And people, other groups within the movement tended to pull away and begin to do their own thing. But it's important to understand that the Supreme Grand Council is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's nation. This is what he wanted. And as followers of the Moorish Science Temple of America, particularly for those of us who are officers or sheiks, adepts in this movement, it is our responsibility to see to it that the Prophet is the law. In other words, and the Prophet said to us in that first convention, he said, all the heads of all of the temples to work hand in hand together to intercede that their Prophet is the law. And so if the Prophet wanted the Supreme Grand Council in place, and he put the Supreme Grand Council in place, then there is no head of this movement anywhere who can ignore it. It must be done.
Alright, so what we all just saw was that old school, it looked like mid to late 90s video of two Moorish American officials. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but P. Davis Ill and Braswell Bay of the Moorish Science Temple of America discussing and confirming just how integral, how important, and how necessary, necessary the Supreme Grand Council is for the Moorish Science Temple of America and for Moorish Americans. And I wanted to play that first so that I could lay the groundwork and lay the foundation as we move forward. And I also wanted to let you know that this isn't just something I came up with. You know what I mean? If you're just kind of coming into this
Exactly.
and seeing
It's
these
not
videos,
that.
you're like,
Now,
well,
I'll say
why
that
does
for a
Rami
fact.
keep talking about the Supreme Grand Council? It's
Because
because
it's
I found out
necessary.
about this as I was doing my studying, and I'm looking around like,
Where is it?
how come we not doing this? This wasn't no
Same thing like, where's our
And the
treasury?
more I began to dig, the
Where's
more
our
issues I
press?
began to see,
Where's
as
our
you will see in a
schools?
moment. But I just wanted to establish that that video happened before I even knew about Noble Dry Leaf. So that just shows you the lack, you know, really and truly. We have to humble ourselves as Moorish Americans, and we
Real.
have to be able to admit our own flaws and mistakes.
Real.
And
Real
one
talk.
mistake that is clear is that we have not been active in making sure that the Supreme Grand Council is functioning in the way that it's supposed to be. But I don't want you to believe me. Let's go to the next clip.
Islam. Please listen very carefully to one, the question being asked, two, the responses.
So, actually, I'm going to read a question that's coming in from Assistant Grand Chief Rami Salam L. And the question coming through the chat says, does any of the Grand Chiefs know who are the members of the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America?
I remember that broadcast. I remember that. Rami, you've been on this for a minute, bro. You ain't let it go.
Question. I yield the floor.
Whoa, what you say, Cujo?
Now, I'm gonna stop
I gotta bring that back.
Coming through the chat says, does any of the Grand Chiefs know who are the members of the Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish Science Temple of America? Islam.
Islam. I wouldn't have an answer for that question. I yield the floor.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there. You know, I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can watch the full video of that, where that clip came from. Mm-hmm. And you can hear it's multiple I remember that broadcast, though. And they all way back in the day. A response. But none of them were able to answer the question. The reason why I am focusing on Cujo is for several reasons. One, because he was one of the people I looked to and was inspired by, because he was always talking about studying and following Noble Dry Lee, and you know, and
Brother Cujo is definitely the first person in this movement that I was able to verbally reach out and over through the airwaves and talk to. And he put me on with Sister Raj Bay, Sister Anani L, Elder, Brother Taj Tariq Bay. I came across this brother here. Who else would I say when it comes to this Moorish Divine and National Movement as far as active? And like I say, here and there, I looked at a couple of, channels, but I didn't stay. I didn't even finish the video, to be real with you, for the others, but I know that there's activities amongst the Moors. I'll say it like that. But as far as these folks right here, the content was beneficial. I was on the history school calls each week for a number of years. I attempted to affiliate with temple, a physical temple, brick and mortar, and the sisters and brothers that attended it. However, I was quickly reminded that not everything is what it should be. They, in this neck of the woods, have a reincarnated prophet that they say that they follow behind. So I'm very confused on that section because of that whole, you used to drive the prophet around and be the mechanic and things. How are you the reincarnated No, that just goes to show that some stuff got off put. And that's what he's more or less talking about where's the Supreme Grand Council at. Because that's not even placed like our treasury, like our school, like our press. These, those things that societies need. Again, that's another one of those major things, because we keep having issues with their so-called administrative processes that we keep calling, we got to go to court. That's not court. It's a meeting, and it's about some contractual stuff. And because we haven't done what we needed to do all this time, apparently still, collectively, I'll say it like that, collectively, then that's why, these types of topics are still on the table, what have you. And I appreciate, the son doing the work that he do. And like I said, I'm going to be throwing these contents out here, because this, and when you see me looking like this, oh yeah, this that wild man energy. All right, so yeah, and I use what they call vulgar language. Oh, you a Muslim, you ain't supposed to da 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 da. Look, I'm being myself. And hopefully you like me like I like me. But if you don't, it's good, because I still love you too. Anywho, let me get back to what he was saying.
And not listening to what other people are talking about. Go with what Noble Drew Ali says. And I'm like,
real talk.
I rock with that.
That's what Cujo was always about.
For a long time. If you look,
but I don't even
been doing it for about 12 years.
Yeah, truth be told though, I ain't really listened to Canaan Land Moore study group or Sunday school, Friday meeting, and I'm saying about 5 years, because Mubaha is about to be 6, so yeah, it's been that long since I actually have even indulged in it, but I appreciate what the brother has done. I got his CD, Iron Sheik, I got his music, that kind of stuff, and I appreciate him. It's just one of those things. It's like you move on. Now, if I could still reach him by phone, I would. And if you get the whiff of this video, Cujo, peace and love, wholeness, sister energy.
3,000 videos, But what is concerning and what is unfortunate, as you heard in the clip, he couldn't answer the question. What's worse than that is, if you look in his catalog of videos, he doesn't have any videos talking in depth, teaching the people, asking the people about the Supreme Grand Council.
This is true.
And that is unfortunate, but I want to highlight this. And in particular, because I used to work with him, co-wrote a book.
Y'all did.
But what we must do is we must be honest with ourselves. And I want to read something for you right now, so that you understand where I'm coming from. It's a warning from the prophet. This is coming from the Moorish literature. For all governors and grand sheikhs and head officials of all temples, renew your acts, amend your ways, because the great conference is on its way, and in it is where law will be enforced before the great grand body. The continuance of the present officers in the temple will depend on your past good work. Those who have been delinquent may now know that they will not be tolerated any longer, because this great divine and national movement must move on according to law. These things shall be proclaimed. This is key right here. There is no favorite in any of the temples, for the law is laid down, and everyone who claims a part of the work must be governed accordingly. It's got to be fair across the board. It ain't no favorites. Just because I was working with Cujo and I got love for Cujo doesn't mean I can ignore the fact that he is not addressing the Supreme Grand Council issue.
Islam.
Same with the brother Taj Tariq Bey.
Can't be
Love
mad.
the brother. Amazing information. But we must address this issue. And that goes to any and everyone in the movement. And that's what I keep saying over and over again, because it's not just a Rami thing. The people that haven't been doing the work, they want to deflect. They want to manipulate the conversation and steer you away from the topic at hand. The Supreme Grand Council. That's what the issue is. And we all have to work together to make sure that it's right.
That's not the issue. The issue is Something about being hard-headed and stiff-necked. That's what the issue is. But we're going to keep it pushing.
Because this is what Noble Drew Ali said. Not what I said. Not what I said. Please make that clear. I want to make that very clear.
Clear?
There's no favorite in any of the temples, for the law is laid down, and everyone who claims a part of the work, must be governed accordingly. All are one. There's but one temple in this nation, and there's but one prophet of the temples. I come to speak to all nations, bringing them a message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And you see, what's unfortunate is that far too often we let our pride and our ego come before us. And we're not able to just admit, you know what? I made a mistake. I thought I knew. I was really, aggressive. I really just wanted to make something happen. Whatever it is. You know what? I never even read that part. Whatever the mistake is, we have a problem. Just admit.
Learning moment. Just admit, you know what I'm saying? Every moment's a learning moment. And let's keep it pushing. Let's not get emotional. Let's just learn from it. Keep it pushing.
Admitting that. But we got to stop that. And this is the facts, man. We haven't been doing our work according to what the prophet laid down. And I bring this back, and the reason why I keep saying the prophet is because I want to show you this next clip, and I want you to keep in mind what I just read and what you heard about the Supreme Grand Council. And understand that the Supreme Grand Council came from Noble Drew Ali. Understand that. Noble Drew Ali set that up.
Islam.
Let's go to the next one.
There's activity and passivity. Right? You already know us. You already know we're not no passive mortals. You already know that. You don't have to prove anything. Right? We did better than starting some Supreme Grand Council. We unified Moors all over the world. Moors who didn't even know they lived down the street from each other got connected because of Canaan land Moors.
Okay, so that's a I thing. Okay, do you understand that you do not move other than the, you know what I'm saying, by the grace of Allah? You are doing the will and the bidding of Allah. Doesn't sound like it in that speech, but and that's what Rami's saying. We tend to get a little boastful, a little prideful in ourselves, and be forgetting that this is only. Well, I got this. You ain't running nothing. This is all law. You know what I'm saying? High, low. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. But anyway, keep it pushing. I see where he's going with this. Listen to that one more time.
There's activity and passivity. Right? You already know us. You already know we're not no passive mortals. You already know that. You don't have to prove anything. Right? We did better than starting some Supreme Grand Council. We unified Moors all over the world. Moors who didn't even know they lived down the street from each other got connected because of Canaan land Moors.
Be grateful you had that to do.
I heard that, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It really, that really hurt me. But I want to express something to you. Matter of fact, before I even do that, let me read this.
The prophet out front.
This is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh.
Islam.
Allah is the one that judges the world,
Islam.
and his judgment is on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. That's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones who do believe. If you have a true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work.
Yes,
Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drali. My brother Kudro Awa El from Canaan Land Moors said that what he has done and what they have done is better than some Supreme Grand Council. He's trying to put himself before the...
and not only that, it's called governmental structure. Real talk, governmental structure. That's just a part of our administrative processes of our governmental structure. And the Supreme Grand Council is similar to your judicial branch, if you will. You know. But anyway, let's hear what the brother, because my video is going to run a little longer than his. His is only 24:5 or 24:50.
Prophet. His works is better than Noble Drali.
Yeah, that's not.
And I just
I gave you props on doing the work that Allah set up for you, and it's just unfortunate that you didn't see it, and be humble and grateful that you were able to get that opportunity, have that opportunity. Because like I said, I am one who wants to testify that, as I said, in this movement, when it comes to the Moorish Divine National Movement of the world, you're the first Muslim that I was able to speak to that brought me up to speed about my prophet, and then led me to Mother, so I can begin to study and wake myself up out of the fog. And I appreciate you for that. And you know, I understand that you made a mistake. That's all I can say. That was a misstep. And that's okay. Hopefully you learn from this and realize that, you know, humbleness is necessary, because no one's before the prophet. You know, because you activating the prophet in you, then these type of this ain't even conversation. You know, Supreme Grand Council, that's apportionment of our government, treasury, apportionment of our government. You know, we don't have any emergency fund. Most of us gonna have to deal with FEMA camps in a minute. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and finish. Let this brother finish doing what he doing.
I want to stress it's important beyond the Supreme. The Supreme Grand Council is very important, but this is even more important than that. Please do not get arrogant. Anybody watching this, and everyone, do not be arrogant enough to think that what you are doing right now is, oh, I'm way better than the prophet. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Those who do that are just immature. I'll just say that. They're just immature. And their lower self is working in them, seeking to devour them. That's all I can say on that one.
The focus. We can't lose focus. The issue at hand is the Supreme Grand Council.
Real talk.
So if you're watching this, I challenge you to study what Noble Drew Ali said about the Supreme Grand Council, and ask your Grand Sheiks, ask the people in your temple, ask your brothers and sisters, hey, when are we going to get this Supreme Grand Council active? Because this is what Noble Drew Ali laid down for us so that we can get this thing going properly. Challenge Cujo. And see, here's the thing. Let me say this last thing. This is not to ridicule Cujo. This is not to ridicule anybody that hasn't been doing the works.
Islam.
I'm saying this is time for us to step up and do what we're supposed to do.
Bottom line.
It's okay to say,
off the pot.
you know what, I apologize. I made a mistake.
That's it. And keep it pushing.
It's time for us to get right.
We love you.
It's not about me.
I love you, Cujo.
It's not about an ego thing. I made mistakes too. I thought I was doing the right thing until I found about the Supreme Grand Council. Then I said, I gotta slow up. I need to figure this out and do this the right way.
You in your proper person? Oh yeah, but
nope, we ain't perfect.
I'm just
Nobody
saying,
perfect.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Please.
And our imperfection is what
humble
makes us
yourselves.
perfect. If you ask
Stop
me.
playing games with this movement. Oh, that's what I want to read on the way out.
On the way out, that's what you're reading. That's what's up.
But let's do what we're supposed to do. Let's follow Noble Drew Ali, who is our prophet, the leader of this movement, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the universal prophet. He came specifically for us. Why are we playing? I'm going to read this last little piece,
Stiff
man.
neck, hard head. That's why.
This coming from chapter 35, Religion, from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It was divinely prepared for us by Noble Drew Ali, our prophet. And in the laws he hath ordained as the rule of life, so kindly had he united thy duty to thy nature, that obedience to his precepts is happiness to thyself. O praise his goodness with sons of thanksgiving, and meditate in silence on the wonders of his love. Let thy heart overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. Let the language of thy lips speak praise and adoration. Let the actions of thy life show thy love to his law. Allah is just and righteous, and will judge the earth with equity and truth. Hath he established his laws in goodness and mercy, and shall he not punish the transgressors thereof? O think not, bold men, because thy punishment is delayed, that the arm of Allah is weakened. Neither flatter thyself with hopes that he winketh at thy doings. His eye perceiveth the secrets of every heart, and he remembereth them forever. He respect not the persons or the stations of men, the high and the low, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ignorant. When the soul hath shaken off the cumbrous shackles of this mortal life, shall equally receive from the sentence of just and everlasting retribution, according to their works. Then shall the wicked tremble and be afraid, but the heart of the righteous shall rejoice in his judgment. Thank you for watching. Please study the Supreme Grand Council. Understand what this is, what this particular function of the Moorish Science Temple of America is.
It's a part of our,
why it is so important.
Part of our society.
And know it. You know, don't just listen to this video and believe what I'm saying. Look it up for yourself so that you know.
Well, I've been studying long enough to know that, yes,
start to
this is
speak
real.
on
But
it.
like I
Start
said,
to
I'm
share
so
the
used to us
information
not
with your
being
brothers and
active like
sisters.
we need to
Start
be.
to call on the sheiks and the people that are making these videos that are calling themselves Moorish Americans and saying they have remedies and saying they have. Ask them about the Supreme Grand Council and demand with love, not hostile, not in aggressive, you know, not that way, but demand that we get to this issue.
We address this.
We cannot keep ignoring it like it don't exist. Because if the Noble Drew Ali is right and not right, the temple ain't right. And Noble Drew Ali is right.
Islam.
So something we ain't doing is right. It's something going on that we ain't doing. That's why things ain't
Go
working.
ahead and hit up Sister
We
Delilah.
gotta listen to what Noble Drew Ali is saying.